Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Chiquis, and you've reached the voicemail box for Dear Chiquis. I'm here to give you advice on anything and everything you need help with. Maybe you're going through a breakup. Maybe you're having issues with your family. Or maybe you need help figuring out how to balance your checkbook or how to start a business. Whatever the case is, I want to hear from you. Remember, these are my thoughts and opinions, and if you're suffering from an issue or hardship, you should seek help from a qualified professional. All right, now go ahead and leave your question at the sound of the beep.
Hello, Chiquis. How are you? I just want to tell you that I love you. I love your family. You're such a big role model, motivation. You look amazing. Congrats on the new marriage. I wish nothing but the best for you. I do want to remain anonymous, but I do have a question for you. My husband of 12 years recently developed an addiction for betting. He bets on sports, all the apps. I was wondering what you thought about that, because it's getting to the point where it's now a financial burden. His accounts have been in the negatives twice, and I've had to help him once to get out of the overdraft fees. And it's just so unlike him. He's always been really good with his money, and here we are now. I don't know what to do. I am looking into getting an addictions therapist for him, but he said he's not quite ready for that. What do you suggest? What is your advice? Thank you so much.
Ooh, mamacita. Well, you got to nip this in the bud real quick. First of all, thank you so much for everything you said. I appreciate you. You're so cute. Thank you. I was just kind of thrown aback with what you were telling me, because it's been 12 years. It's not like him. He just developed this, and he definitely needs to see an addiction specialist ASAP, because this is going to affect your life. Especially, guys, we're in a recession. We have no business betting. That's just my personal opinion. And you can't support this, especially if he's not winning. He's obviously not winning. So his accounts are on negative. Is this going to affect your livelihood? And as a woman, we need to feel secure and safe. And he's not making you feel that. So that's going to cause a lot of issues in your marriage if he's not willing to do this for you. It's not even if he's not ready. It's you either do this or I need to walk away. And I know that sounds crazy, but this is a huge situation. This is a real addiction, and it will only get worse, because what happens is they're trying to play catch up. I lost and for sure I'm going to win and now, and then they don't. And it's like a never ending thing. So if he's not counting cards and stuff like that, which is illegal, he needs to stop, because it's obviously not working. So I think you need to put your foot down, and you need to take control and tell him this is what it is. Either you do this because you're affecting not only yourself, but our home, me, and it's only going to get worse. If not, then I need to make a choice. So let me know what you decide. Keep me updated, please, because I want to know. I'm wishing you all the best. And now we have Jessica. Let's hear from Jessica.
Chiquis, what is one of your most memorable parts of your tour? What would you say was the best part? What would you say was the worst part?
Ooh, Jessica. Okay, that's a good question. Well, the worst part for sure I know was starting the tour in May and being pregnant and being excited and being confused all at the same time, and then really accepting that I was pregnant. I was going to be on tour pregnant, and then visualizing myself with a big old belly and then losing the baby. So I feel like that was really hard. So I guess I want to say that's the worst experience in a way, because then it turned out to be something really beautiful. But anyways, that's one thing that I'm oh my gosh, crazy. And the most memorable thing I want to say was being at the Auditorio Nacional, November 3rd in Mexico. There were a lot of people that didn't believe that people were going to show up for me, and they did. And when I walked out on that stage and I saw the amount of people that were there, and it wasn't sold out, but I didn't need it to be sold out, because maybe it is too soon. Because someone in Mexico said, Chiquis is not ready and she's not there to have a sold out auditorio. And I was like, maybe there's some truth there. Maybe I still have a lot of work to do in Mexico. Yes. But the people that were there and the amount of people, it was just so overwhelming. I was in a good way, obviously. It was so beautiful. I didn't know whether to cry, just sit down and cry from like out of joy or sing, but I had to sing. So I was singing the first 2 songs. My eyes were tearing up. My voice was cracking. It was just beautiful to feel the energy, to feel and see that Mexico showed up for me. So I'm never going to forget that concert ever. It was so stressful. It was like to get to that point, and I know the whole team was stressed, and it was just a lot, but it was worth it. It was worth every tear, every night that we didn't sleep, every early morning. So that was definitely a highlight, and so many others, but those are the 2 that stand out. So thank you so much, Jessica, for your question. Oh my gosh, Diamantes tour. Now we have to plan the next one. I'm excited. Next question comes from Adri.
Hi, Chiquis. How are you? Many blessings to you and your husband and your family. My question for your podcast is, I grew up in a Mexican family, in a Mexican household. I'm an only child, but I am now a mom of 2. My oldest is 4 and my youngest is 2. My oldest was recently diagnosed, or pre-diagnosed actually, with autism. But I see a difference in my family side of how they treat my son and my daughter. They always go towards my daughter since she's more, open and more, I guess, better to communicate and all this. And it hurts me as a mom. As a person and as a mom, and I know your mom was a very strong woman, what would you recommend me? It hurts me to let go of my family, but it also hurts me not to defend my children. And how can I help myself and my children? Because it's draining. It's draining to see this go on. And, I wouldn't want to see this forever in my life for them to mistreat and make my son feel less. And I love you. I'm such a fan. Thank you for always, making podcasts and all these things too for us women, and not just women, men, just to feel better and open ourselves to our stories. Thank you, Chiquis.
Oh, Audrey, thank you for that. That means a lot. It means a lot because I love doing this and I love helping in any way that I possibly can. And I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry that you're going through this. Not sorry that your son is autistic, because I have a niece that is autistic. They are beautiful human beings. They are so smart. They just learn in a different way. And that's all it is, Here's the thing with your family. I don't think, if they're being, si le están haciendo fuchi, la cara de fuchi, it's different. But if they don't interact with him as much, it's probably because they still don't understand. This is still something very new, especially in the Latin community. They don't really understand it much. We still need to educate our people about autism. So sometimes it makes them feel a little uncomfortable. And it's not that they love him less. It's just they don't know what to do. So I would need more details, as to if they're being mean to him, then that's different. If they're being mean, if they're mistreating him, they're calling him names or anything like that, absolutely 100% separate yourself from your family. But if they're just not interacting as much as they are with your daughter, just try to understand as well. Maybe have a conversation with them and say, hey, you're making me feel this way. Hablando se entiende la gente. When you talk, you guys will understand each other, maybe hear them out. And I guarantee you, it's more than likely they don't know. They don't know if they're going to do something to upset him, and they feel a little uncomfortable just because they don't understand. Maybe it would be nice to do a family therapy that they can give more insight on autism. I looked online. I did my research because I wanted to really communicate with my niece and understand what it was. I didn't know what autism, I knew, but I didn't know firsthand. So that's what I did. And I suggest that before separating yourself, because your family can be there and they could help you. It's going to take a little bit of time for everyone to get used to your son learning in a different way and not being like other children. And that's okay. We're all still figuring it out, So I think having a conversation is what you should do. Let them know, communicate with them how you're feeling. So Adri, I hope that I helped you, and I'm sending you a big hug, you and your son and your daughter, and I hope everything gets better. Well, okay, guys, that's the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to Dear Chiquis. And if you have a question, please leave your question at speakpipe.com/Chiquis and Chill podcast. This is a production of iHeartRadio and the My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcast and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and check us out on YouTube.